Well, hello, everybody. The DUI guy is back, and today we have a special report. People have been asking, so I'm going to deliver. I haven't gone live talking about Johnny Depp, Amber Heard stuff for a little while. So it's time to catch up. I've been to Mexico. I'm back. I've caught up at work. So let's get this thing started. Um, Lots and lots and lots of things have happened since I've been gone. I mean, Amber is publishing a book and she's trying to sell the rights to it. She has filed motion after motion in court about juror number 15. What has she not done is the question. I think it would be a shorter list. Trying to ask for a mistrial, trying to ACLU doing some shenanigans. People are asking, why isn't she just getting a different attorney? And of course, the big ticket item, her insurance saying, bye, girl, we are not paying anything. She has a $1 million policy, and they're saying it was an intentional malicious act. Therefore, we are not paying you a dime. But joining me today, and without further ado, Vanessa Blair. You all remember her on air with V. Blair. She is a reporter. She was with me in the courtroom with several others, James from court and a few others, if you remember, at the Johnny Depp trial. And she is going to be joining me right now. Hey, Vanessa. You're muted.
Sorry.
No,
Way to
you're
start the
good.
show.
Story of our lives, right?
Yeah,
You're muted.
exactly.
Hey, you're on mute.
Also, I'm dying. I just realized. So give me like 2 seconds.
Take your time. Okay, so while she's getting things fixed up, let's start. What should we start with? Let's talk about her book. Okay. Amber Heard has been insinuating pretty much since verdict day, or maybe even since closing arguments day, if not beforehand, that she is going to be writing a book about the trial. Okay. Here's the problem. People are saying, like, well, everything she writes on there could be potentially defamatory and give Johnny Depp an additional opportunity to sue her pants off. The answer is yes. That is 100% correct. Is it going to stop her from writing her book? The answer is no. You're 100% wrong, because Amber Heard is going to be doing Amber Heard things, just like she did with the NBC interview, which God knows how much money she got paid for that one, which she copyright struck me and Farron and Ian and everybody, by the way. The videos are still non existent because NBC was like, bye, bitch. So I still don't have those. She's writing her book, and she's going to write it. And it is what it is. And however many people she defames in it, including Johnny Depp, that is going to be for the potential plaintiffs to sue her to decide, number one, whether or not they want to sue her. And number two, whether or not they want to go through with those troubles, after suing her, because they might go to trial again if she's not going to settle, which is very unlikely. And number three, maybe ignore it entirely, because again, you got to remember, the truth is already out there. The trial has already happened. She was on the witness stand. We got a chance to hear it, to see it front and center. There's really not much that she can add to this pile and be like, I just found magical new evidence that has come to light. Like, bitch, the train has sailed. The ship has sailed. The train has departed from the station. It's over. But
I don't think it's going to be about Depp, though.
What do you think it's going to be about?
I think it's going to be like her journey through Hollywood. Like her dad has a lot of scandals behind him. He's been arrested for a couple things. They have a very strenuous relationship. She can talk a lot of shit about her mom. She's dead. She can't sue her. She's had trouble with Whitney, as like everyone said. Kate James, I just posted this the other day, that Kate James was referring to her, Whitney, being treated like Amber's little dog. Kate James is actually one of the witnesses that
Really?
is testifying in the Australia investigation.
Oh, wow.
And so I posted like, guys, remember who Kate James is. and that is Amber's ex-personal assistant. She had for like 5 years. Amber talked a lot of shit about her on the stand and was like, I couldn't trust this person. I couldn't hire them. Meanwhile, she used her Kate James's rape story as her own. And then she used to use Kate James's child as a prop. And Kate James is one that said she treated Whitney like a dog. She has a lot of strenuous relationships around her.
Hmm.
Now, I do believe she has an NDA with Musk, but from what I hear, not with James Franco.
That's a
And
non-disclosure agreement for those of you
correct.
unfamiliar with the acronym. Go ahead.
So with James Franco, he's also been under his own side of scandals. He has an acting studio in LA that he opened and was a little gateway to him meeting very young girls. And there was a lot of scandal that came into play with that. And I think she'll use anything for a headline. The bottom line is the last time we were in court was for the judgment. And Judge A was having none of it with Elaine. Elaine wanted Amber to have to pay up between August 11th and August 14th. Elaine was trying to get a hearing for July 11th so badly. And Judge A's like, we're done with hearings. This case is closed. And that would be because she wanted the hearing on such a specific day. That hearing would have been to put the judgment forward. So case closed judgment between 7/11 and 7/14, which means she knew Amber was coming in to a big payday between August 11th and August 14th, since the appeal money would be due 30 days from the judgment.
That makes so much sense.
So that was a huge confrontation, yelling match for the judgment. No, again, guys, no cameras were allowed that day. So we saw a lot more of their true feelings and personality shine. And it was volatile.
Yeah. And I remember seeing your tweets and
Mm-hmm.
Jeanette's tweets that Judge A was just, she almost blew a gasket
Yeah, it was
trying
bad.
to put Elaine in her place because Elaine
Mm-hmm.
just kept, I mean, look, she's doing her job. I get it. But there's also a limit in everything, and I think from my understanding, since I wasn't there, I actually had
Yeah.
a jury trial in a corrupt county of my own going on literally at the exact moments that the fuckery was happening over in Fairfax, Virginia. Judge Ascarati was basically, I mean, Elaine just basically would not stop,
No.
quote unquote, advocating for her client, i.e., Amber Heard, to give her extra time. Your Honor, we need to file this motion. We need to file that motion. And, I tweeted
Yeah.
yesterday, and there was actually a conversation between you and I of,
Mm-hmm.
if people are asking, so I might as well address it right now. Like, all these motions that they're filing, do they have any merit? Okay, let me answer
And
right
why
now.
now? Why not wait to the appeal?
Okay, all right. So let me address that first. Okay, so first and foremost, the motions that Elaine is filing right now with respect to Juror 15 specifically, and I think there were so far like 3 motions
Mm-hmm.
just on that topic at least. So about 100 pages, maybe close to 100 pages of filings for various reasons. It was the wrong person. They should have been vetted. They were the wrong age. Whatever. And it was, by the way, it was Elaine's job to make sure it's the right juror, not the court. The court asks some questions and they answer. And if they answer and they lie, I mean, so be it. There's nothing you can do. If the attorneys in the middle of voir dire, that's jury selection, they discover, oh, wait a minute, this is a fishy
There's an error.
individual,
Yeah.
blah, 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 that's a mistake. Well, Your Honor, I move to strike juror so-and-so, and they will be struck like that. The only problem is if you don't make, and this is notorious in the courts of appeals, if you don't make the objection, it is not preserved for appeal. You don't get, that's why they're doing it now, because they're post-trial pre-appeal motions. On appeal, she can argue XYZ, but she can't argue it on appeal, this particular issue with
Mm-hmm.
Juror 15, because it is not preserved, because the objection was never made by Elaine or Rottenborn or anybody else on the team during voir dire. So it's not an appealable issue. And the fact, and they have to be addressed by the district court. She's trying to slide them in, and all Judge Ascarati has to do is, honestly, she can do one of two things. She can say, number one, these are issues for appeal. I'm not dealing with this. Talk to the Court of Appeals, which would be the right call, and they will 100% lose those issues in the Court of Appeals because, like I just said, they were not preserved. Wrong court. Judge Ascarati could say to Elaine. Or number two, she can rule on them and say, no, that's not an issue that is relevant for purposes of granting a mistrial. Even if it was an issue, it's not an erroneous issue. Therefore, again, take it up with the Court of Appeals if you have any issues with my ruling. And honestly, like I tweeted about it yesterday, to me, as a criminal defense lawyer, I run a small operation. Most of our clients they pay up front. There are very large criminal defense firms that charge by the hour, and they have billable hours. You know, those little black books where they keep in increments of 0.6, and you get 10 of those per hour. It's maddening to work for one of those firms. It's literally
Elaine's rate is $700 an hour.
700. So there you go. 700 an hour she's getting. So, well, she's not writing all these motions herself. An associate or a lesser, smaller partner or whatever that are working on this
Her
stuff.
associate gets $500, and then her daughter, who's the paralegal at the firm, gets $250 an hour.
Well, so multiply that, the paralegal and the associate have maybe spent, I don't know, let's call it 50 hours on the smaller motions and over 100 hours on the larger, longer motions, plus Elaine's review of them afterwards. When you do the math, I mean, that could easily be like $150,000 bill just since verdict day.
Well, not to mention, every time Elaine takes a phone call, or any buddy at Elaine's law firm takes a phone call with Amber herself, those are billable hours.
All of them. Every minute counts, and every minute is a drain on the teats of Amber Heard's cow, which is completely depleted.
And now Elaine owns her law firm with her husband. So her profits are pretty, her profit margin's pretty good. It's her husband, her daughter, and 2 other attorneys. So, she is milking this cow, because also, who the hell is going to hire her next? Actually, funny story, when we were at the judgment, she had a case 2 hours later that she was appealing a motion for. So,
know what lawyers call appeals court?
What?
Loser court.
I mean, that explains Elaine really well. She should just
only when you lose on the trial level do you go to appeal. Like, you lost, therefore you're going to loser court. And no lawyer likes to be in loser court unless you're like, there's on Law Talk with Mike, there was this Debbie, I think her name is, I forget. She's an attorney who started her own channel not that long ago. And she has like a goat, and his name's Mike, and they make this really funny, like, she'll appear on Mike's channel and with the goat, and it's like a really fun thing that they do. But anyway, she's like an appeals lawyer, I believe. If that's the same.
That's her thing. Because to remind everyone, Amber doesn't have to use Elaine for her appeal. She can hire other attorneys, and she has not yet. And
I don't understand why.
And Savannah Guthrie in her post.
Maybe because no one else will take it. That's the only answer. Nobody else wants to touch this thing.
Well, since you mentioned that, in the suit that her insurance company just filed, they mentioned that they offered her an attorney that would have been included in her, I don't know, her package, her policy. It would have been included in her policy, that they would have retained counsel for her, and she turned it down, the person that they chose. So, and he pretty good reputation just from a quick, Google search, not a total deep dive, but so she is picking her lawyer. I mean, Elaine is the third set of counsel that she had throughout this entire trial and process, and Johnny filed the claim, but she was offered, and that is one of the reasons that the insurance company is saying, hey, we're not responsible for you. One, this was proved that it was malicious, it was intentional, and you're guilty. So we're not responsible. Your policy does not cover your malice.
Malicious intent. Just let
Mhm.
me address this real quick
Yeah.
before, because I want to talk about that
Mhm.
too. Sarah, no, Ben Chu is not $2,000 a minute.
No.
Although if they get paid, I mean, they do get a large chunk of change, but it's still not going to be that high. They get a percentage because they're the plaintiff. They don't charge by the hour. Defense charges by the hour. The plaintiff charges percent. It's called contingency. It's usually somewhere between 33 and 50%, sometimes plus expenses. Usually if you do like 50, obviously you're not going to add expenses. You never ever as an attorney wouldn't be making more than your client. So if the judgment, let's say, was 2,000, you never want to take more than $1,000, because then you take a bigger piece of the pie. It just looks disgusting when your client walks away with $800 and it's their case, and the lawyer walks away with 1,200 or something like that. So you always, it's a balancing act that lawyers have to play with. But usually pre-litigation is more common to have like somewhere between 33 and 40%, and then post-litigation is 40 to 50. That's when you go to court. So when you're trying to settle it, it's usually on the lower end. Some lawyers will litigate at 33%, but there is no such thing as well, there are mixed contracts, but I highly, highly doubt that. Well, actually, the more I think about it, I shouldn't say it. Maybe
I
it
think
is
he's
possible
billable
that they have,
hours
but I
because
doubt they did
no, well,
that rate.
there was one motion that was filed. That's how I know Elaine's rates for her entire law firm. She was asking to be reimbursed.
Right.
So she
Well,
had to
yes.
document. So then for basically there was a segment of this. This was all pretrial hearings. And
Hmm.
then Ben and Camille, they filed to get reimbursement, basically just the exact thing as Elaine did, and said, Your Honor, like my hourly rate is much higher, almost double Elaine. So I think this is where Sarah's getting that 2,000 number, because in this motion that
Well,
was
she also
filed,
said a minute. She didn't say an
oh, okay.
hour.
But where the
So,
the 2,000
but
might
yeah.
come in, because he said in the filing that his normal fee is almost double Elaine's, which would be
Mhm.
1,400. But he said he would settle for 700 an hour to be fair in the good faith of the trial and everything. And both were approved. They both got reimbursed for each other's expenses for that one hearing.
Mhm. And the ACLU
Oh,
got
that's big.
about like what, 40% of what they asked for, give or take.
38,000. The judge um approved Depp paying 38,000 out of the 86,000 that the
Hmm.
ACLU was requesting in reimbursement for gathering documents and appearing in trial and
Under
all the
half.
pre-trial depositions.
Hmm. About 44% of what they asked for, they got, which is better than nothing. For good for them,
But let's not
but
also forget, like, Depp gave them $100,000
for
like during after the divorce,
oh
and then
right,
they
on behalf of
on
Amber and
on
all that.
behalf, yeah, but they
Yeah.
actually never wound up counting that towards Amber's pledge. They counted Elon's, and it says Guy Anthony Romero that counted Elon's donation towards Amber's pledge, and that's who Amber's been staying with out in the Hamptons. He's a super dirty guy, known in the industry for a lot of tricks. He makes about $1 million a year. He works 26 hours a week. When you're nonprofit, you have to file documents like that, especially when you're applying for grants and loans, especially all of your executives. Everything's really transparent and exposed. And he's a really shady dude. And so he was shopping in TJ Maxx with Amber. He took some of the photos. We have eyewitnesses that we spoke to that confirmed all of that, and he's been staying with her. So the ACLU is like really complicit here, and it's just such a conflict of interest and horrible publicity.
Was he the one that tried to put forth the fact that Amber Heard was shoplifting at the TJ Maxx to just give her an extra boost of
Oh,
publicity?
I didn't hear about that.
Did you not see the TMZ article
I
like
didn't.
Amber Heard caught shoplifting at TJ Maxx? Do you not remember that?
I don't. I just saw the
It's like short
photos.
after the verdict.
I just saw the photos of her shopping with Whitney. That
Yeah, that's the one. I think that's
they
the
said
one
they
where
were
she like
shoplifting,
where she like does something like this. I think she's just fixing her pants. Like I
or
watched that
I think she
video
was putting her phone in her pants or
or
in her pocket
whatever.
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then anyway, it's like sometimes I feel that it's not even TMZ doing it. It's Amber telling
yeah.
them like, "Hey, I've been shoplifting. Post about it." because you get an extra boost of views and eyeballs, because when people hear, oh, crime being committed, but there is no crime. She didn't get arrested. She didn't get charged. She didn't get nothing. It's just
It's morally
extra.
corrupt.
It's literally like the most disgusting. Oh,
But what was going around tabloid Central, Daily Mail, New York Post, a couple mainstream picked it up, is that she was actually selling the photos to TMZ.
mm.
And using that because she didn't know if the book deal would come through in time. Girl needs money.
And yeah, especially with the book deal, we'll see. We'll see how much that lands. But let's go back.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the insurance. So this is fresh. This is like yesterday fresh, from my understanding. Her own insurance company. Let me see if I can find the article. Do you have the?
Yeah, I'm grabbing it. And I also want to show everybody a reminder of Amber Heard's insurance woman who was at court with her every day. So this is the representative.
By the way, the blonde lady that was in the front row,
Yeah, I'm just pulling that.
from the older blonde, she's not from insurance.
Wait,
That's another defense firm.
No, this woman is. This woman.
Well, we'll see. You will see the one you're talking
Okay,
about.
I just sent you a link
Got it.
but just look at the photo. That woman is. She came with Amber every day. She's with the insurance company. She's their representative. She's counsel. She's counsel, but she works with them.
Oh, okay.
She's not like an insurance rep. She's counsel for the insurance company for this, and was assigned this policy.
So there was when she was on her computer. Do you remember I had?
Oh yes.
What was it?
Big DUI scandal.
Not Goldman and Reese. What was it? It starts with a G.
Gordon.
Thank you.
And Reese,
Gordon and
Reeves.
Gordon Reese, Scully Mansukhani. So when she was on her computer, Pamela Johnson. Let me show you guys what Vanessa and I are talking.
Yeah, there's a couple photos in that article I should have sent you.
Yep.
She was in court every day, first row. She usually wore, so all legal counsel who aren't in the first two rows, like representing, they sit in the first two rows in the gallery, and they have on yellow credentials that say legal. So that's any other legal. So like Johnny Depp's UK lawyers, they were there, and they're allowed to, they're the people who are allowed to have their computers out, their phones out. We could kind of be whispering more than we could. So Johnny Depp, to put in perspective, had about 8 more lawyers, including his team, supporting him there that were interacting, helping, working with them. Amber had this lady and Whitney. Some days Whitney didn't even come. And that was it.
And well, she couldn't come until she testified.
Right.
Separation of witnesses and all that. But you're absolutely right. I mean, Johnny had the support of, and not just because of, see, everybody says on her team, well, that's because he's a famous celebrity. And no, it is because he is
You build your team.
And he built his team correctly. So, okay. Sorry. I just knocked my microphone over.
We're doing great tonight.
I probably just killed someone's earballs. Sorry. Amber Heard broke due to mounting legal fees, lavish spending, sources say. Amber Heard can't pay the 10.4, which now 8.35 million she owes Johnny Depp, her lawyer revealed on Thursday, as sources told the Post. The actress is broke, quote
and
unquote.
Usually sources, when it comes to Amber Heard, it's Amber talking to the press herself. She has a history of that. It's known in Hollywood and PR firms. So just keep that in mind. And that's why some of the phraseology isn't like the most professional.
And by the way, thank you, Jen, for the 5 gifted subs. I really, really appreciate it. So due to hefty legal fees, she's broke, associated with the bombshell defamation trial. Oh, no, absolutely not. Heard's attorney, Elaine Bredehoff, told NBC's Today when asked if the actress had the means to cover the hefty judgment handed down to the jury by the jury on Wednesday, which at the time of this article, that was yesterday. The high-profile court battle with her ex-husband has left the 36-year-old actress hurting for cash, according to sources, including one who also placed the blame on Heard's past lavish spending on travel, clothes, gifts, wine, etc. So the bill for Heard's attorney has mostly been footed by the Travelers Company under the terms of the actress's insurance policy, sources say. The vice president of the insurance firm, or a vice president, I guess they have multiple vice president. What is this? What is this?
It's a
Multiple
huge
vice?
firm. So it's
Okay.
like SVP of like senior vice president of marketing, senior vice president of
Oh, okay.
development, things like
I was
that.
gonna say it sounds like they're running. What was
A
that? Wolf
pyramid
of Wall
scheme.
Street. Remember the Wolf?
Oh.
I'm the vice president of Bears,
Penny
whatever.
stocks. Yeah.
Yeah. Was spotted Fairfax, Virginia. So that's her. This is the woman whose computer I saw, and so now that explains why she had
Yeah.
the Gordon Reese's bill on her computer, because she's the money. She was
Yeah.
going to be paying, and Gordon Reese, Scully Menkushani, our Mensukani, excuse me, is the firm that is the national firm covering all 50 states, and they were there on Amber Heard's team working in
Mhm.
the background. I actually got to meet one of their lawyers when I went to the conference, the Kentucky Bar Association National Convention. I got to meet one of Gordon Reese's lawyers, but of course, she had no idea about their participation in the lawsuit because she wasn't involved
It's a huge
directly.
firm.
But yeah, and there's told her, well, you were there, not you personally, but your teammates in spirit. So anyway, so now this lady, essentially, right? If you want to look at it that
Mhm.
way, her right there.
Yeah, she's
Um,
counsel
she's not counsel.
representing. She
She's
isn't?
she's. I don't think she's a lawyer. She's just the vice president of the insurance company.
Okay.
So she was and is one of the people that is going to be helping to be responsible to not paying Amber Heard's um, policy, umbrella policy.
Which I just
The-
sent you the follow-up
you
to.
did. Okay, fantastic. I was just about to look it up. Thank you. So here we go. This broke yesterday, right?
So this article that
Or
we're looking
today.
at right now came out the day after the Savannah Guthrie interview, where Elaine's like, "Oh, she's fucking broke."
Amber Heard's oh my god, these ads! I swear. Amber Heard's insurance company refuses to cover some of the $8 million in damages she owes ex-husband Johnny Depp because her defamation was, here it is, willful
Willful and
and
malicious.
malicious. So what does that mean? Thank you for your membership, Llamas on My Sofa. Great name, by the way. Amber Heard's insurance company is refusing to cover part of the $8.3 million in damages the actress owes ex-husband Johnny Depp after her defamation trial. By the way, this was published today. This is July
hmm
9th, FYI. After her defamation trial, Heard had a $1 million liability policy with New York Marine and General Insurance Company. Okay, so I take it back. It's not Travelers. Travelers is another insurance company she's got. This is a liability policy with New York Marine and General Insurance Company, not Travelers. The Pamela, the lady we just saw on the
She
screen,
took out this policy in 2018.
which she hoped may cover a portion of the damages. Insurance company claimed to be able to refuse the $1 million payout if Heard was found to have committed willful misconduct and want judge to agree. So let's take a pause here. Let's take a step back. Let's say Amber Heard would have won unequivocally, right? Let's say she
hmm
won on at least one, if not both, if not all three claims, and Johnny would have lost on all three. The $1 million policy would have kicked in. They would have paid, no questions asked, because there was no maliciousness, there was no willful conduct, etc. But because Amber Heard was found liable for her conduct, now malice, by the way, remember, malice and malicious, they sound like they come from the same root. And semantically speaking, they're the exact same word. But legally speaking, they're two completely different words. Malice is something that is required in order to recover damages from a public figure. And the jury found that Amber Heard acted with malice when she published the op-ed, and without naming Johnny, was talking about Johnny, and Johnny is entitled to damages, 8.35 million. So says the jury. Case closed. However, acting maliciously is basically the insurance company stating, we believe that you acted willfully. You did this on
Mhm.
purpose, and your intent behind your actions was malicious in our opinion. So it's the same word, completely different definitions, completely different use. And she can still argue, I did not act with malice, and you have to prove it, file a suit against them, take them to court, and it will be a whole other argument in and of itself. And they want a judge to agree. Oh, there you go. There it is.
Mhm.
They're already there. I
Yeah,
should
they
have
don't want a
completed the
trial.
sentence, of course.
They just want the judge to sign off on it.
Yep. On Friday, Heard's lawyers filed a second document seeking a retrial. That was yesterday,
Mhm.
claiming that the wrong person served on the jury. This is one we already talked about. It's
This
going to
is
fall through.
insane.
They said that a 77-year-old person was selected, but a 52-year-old with the same name, same last name, excuse me, and living at the same address served instead.
The problem I have with this is that in Elaine's filing, all she says is that he appears to be the 54-year-old. It very well could be the 77-year-old.
I think he looks great. If he's 77, he looks
We thought he was
fantastic.
mid-60s.
We all did. I mean, I
I
think
do
and
not think he was
every list he's listed as
54.
in his 60s. If he's
Well, that
77,
comes
God
from
bless
like
him,
you streaming though, having inside eyes.
right?
That's just what they like, mainstream picked up on the feeds. But he was not 50.
Heard's lawyers said as a result of that, her right to a jury trial and
It's
compromised. Bitch,
crazy.
please. They added, under these circumstances, a mistrial should be declared. And the new trial ordered. Okay. Did not say how the error was
Mm-mm.
detected. I love that piece. Or give the first names of the two jurors. Well, obviously, that's going to be they're going to be in violation of a court order of their own making. They asked the judge to seal them.
For a
They can't
year.
just be like, oh, here they are, by the way, because now
Mhm.
they'll be violating a court order
And if you remember,
that they
Elaine
themselves
is the
asked for.
one who wanted it sealed for a year because
Yeah.
she didn't want them talking to press. It wasn't just a judge's order. Elaine petitioned for it.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Um,
Do
trying
you
to make
think Elaine, and this was brought up before during trial, and they were like, let's not say anything, let's leave it in case we lose so we have something to
Oh
try to get
no,
a
no, 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 no,
mistrial?
no, absolutely not. From experience, I can tell you, trial is over. They had none of this on their radar. After they lost, they're like, all right, let's have a team
Yeah.
hustle. What do we got?
Can you
We have this,
imagine
this,
their
this, and
war
this. Like
room? Like, this is what they're coming up
that's
with?
garbage argument. Next. Okay, what do you got? Juror 15. All right, we'll come back to that. Write that down, Jimmy. All right, what do you got? Like, what have you been? What kind of research? It
Yeah.
was literally like a powwow that they had trying to figure out like what can they do, what can they accomplish, what can they sink their teeth into, because they have nothing, literally
No.
nothing. So they're like, all right, let's see what we can do. Amber Heard's insurance company is refusing to cover part of the 8.35 million in damages the actress owes ex-husband Johnny Depp following the defamation trial in May. Heard had a $1 million liability policy in New York Marine and General Insurance Company, which she had hoped that might cover at least a portion of the damages bill she needs to settle. But the policy covers wrongful conduct of various sorts, including defamation, but there is a clause which will likely see the insurance company refusing to pay out, reports TMZ. Under California law, the state in which the insurance policy was issued, the company claimed to be able to refuse the $1 million payout if Heard was found to have committed, quote, willful, quote unquote, misconduct,
Which she was.
which she was. The New York Marine Companies say that in their determination, the judge found the defamation committed by Amber Heard to be both willful and malicious. And that is a very, very strong argument. But like I said, remember, they still have to come at it
Yeah.
from a different angle. They can't just be like, well, the jury said this. It like literally read, because otherwise they would just read the juror's verdict, which said, do you find that her conduct was,
Mhm.
did you find malice? And they would just read that into the record, and that would be the end of it. Obviously, that didn't happen. So there's more to it, as I just stated. The insurance company now want to see the judge declare that they are not going to be on the line to foot part of Amber's bill based on that policy. Um, the fallout from the shutdown is still rumbling, with Heard's lawyers on Friday demanding a new trial in her defamation fight, claiming the wrong person served on her jury and ruled against her. Like we said, garbage. Heard's team filed the court documents, just milking away. In Virginia, based on additionally discovered facts, they said. Her lawyers alleged two people with the same last name lived at the home in Virginia where the jury duty summons was sent in April. By the way, even if that's true, it's not going to have any effect on the verdict.
So she's saying these people were born on the exact same day, too. That's what she's trying to imply.
Well, no, she's trying to imply that the person that was born on the date on the form was the wrong person.
No, that they have the same month and day too.
Like they did a switcheroo. Well, that's another question. You're exactly right. Like what are you arguing, Elaine? Objection unintelligible.
She's literally saying he didn't look like 77. Like he got Botox. Like he looks great. So yeah, so let's file all these paperwork. This paperwork, charge Amber a couple $100,000. And, just say he like looked too young to be serving. That's basically
her lawyers allege two people with the same last name lived in. The summons was intended for a 77-year-old person, but instead the 52-year-old. By the way, if it truly is the 52-year-old, I'm sorry, man, you need to whip yourself up in shape. You look terrible.
But if it was the 77-year-old, he can get it.
Fantastic. I know, it's so weird. Like there's like right in the middle. If you take 77 plus 52 divide by 2, that's the age of the person that we thought was
we thought in 66, mid-60s.
Yep. Showed up in court and served on the jury. It is deeply troubling. This is what they write. For an individual not summoned for jury duty, nonetheless to appear for jury, especially in a case such as this, of such magnitude, they write.
Don't you like how they show one person there? As if like that was the line. No, go down. Just as if like it was only one. Johnny only had one supporter.
Oh.
Look, that was
just so you know, hit one and it's just okay, whatever.
Meanwhile, there was like there were blocks filled with supporters. And Amber only had one. Amber had 3 people and they like all sat on the same bench. But her entire support team could fit on one bench.
The filing notes that Virginia has safeguards in place to prevent these types of mix-ups, such as using of a 7-digit juror number, zip code, birth date to verify their identities. These safeguards are in place and relied upon by the parties to verify the identity of the correct juror to ensure due process and fair trial of the litigants, reads the filing. Oh, I thought that was the response. Because I'm like, that is exactly.
No, there's no response yet.
If I were the judge, this is what I would write. I mean,
this just happened yesterday at like closing, though. Like
right.
So.
Well, you know what I mean. Like
yeah.
No, when these safeguards are circumvented, now this is obviously clearly back to them, are circumvented or not followed, as appears to be the case here. The right to a jury trial and due process are undermined and compromised. Not really. Under these circumstances, a mistrial should be declared and a new trial ordered. The document did not provide any reason for why this allegedly occurred or say how the situation was uncovered. And again, I can tell you. So the document did not provide any reason for why this allegedly occurred, because Elaine didn't object during voir dire. Rottenborn didn't object during voir dire. Amber Heard's team collectively did not object to anything during voir dire. Why? Because they did not sniff any issues. If they had, and they would have objected, and the judge was like, I rule this is okay, they would have had standing, and I would be having a completely different conversation with you all.
Now, during jury selection, something interesting happened. And we always had a feeling that the story we're about to tell, goes back to the older gentleman sitting there who they're now calling out. During jury selection, they were asked if anybody knew who Johnny Depp and Amber Heard were. You weren't allowed to sit on the jury if you saw more than 3 Johnny Depp movies, or if you basically ever heard of Amber Heard. And nobody had heard of Amber except for this one man. Again, 5 men on the jury. And They go, so like, have you ever heard of Amber? And he's like, well, my wife sent me a text this morning that says she's a psychopath. And they're like, oh, well, do you think that you could like not be biased? And he's like, yeah, she overreacts a lot and exaggerates things. And he's like, well, would your wife be mad at you if and this is Elaine asking the questions to jury during jury selection. Would your wife be mad at you if you didn't see it her way or agree with her that Amber's a psychopath? And the guy goes, she gets mad at me a lot. It'll be fine. Now, always because of the relationship, how he describes having a wife, seems like they've been married a long time. A little
Sounds
old
like a typical
school
marriage.
Yeah, I always thought it was the older guy. And now I'm like, is this revenge? Like, did that stick out like a sore thumb to her now? And she's just like, that was weird, something going on. Like, that's why she's focusing on him. I don't know. It's just all fishy. That's my conspiracy theory. But I think it's literally the only thing they could kind of grapple with.
I just remembered. I had a tweet.
Yeah.
About juror number 6.
Oh, wait, I have it. Do you want me to grab it?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I sent it to you yesterday.
Oh my God, I just remembered.
Yeah, I have it. Because I was like, you're part of the problem.
I'm guilty as charged.
You are the problem.
The public. I should never have gone to the trial. I should have never uncovered all of Amber Heard's secrets. I'm so sorry. Will you ever be able to forgive me? Friday's so the document did not provide why and how the situation was uncovered because they read my tweets. They don't want to talk about that.
Yeah. Can I put a photo in the chat for you to bring up or no?
I need a link.
Okay, it's just links. Okay, give me 1 sec.
Do you not have the link?
Can I text you? Well, no, I screenshotted it.
No. Well, you can, but I won't be able to pull it up.
Okay, let me find this check then. Hold on.
All right. Friday's filing comes after the actress's legal team on July 1st filed claims that the verdict at trial week hearing. So this is, okay, theoretically, this is the strongest argument that they have. The only problem is it's really, really bad. So that's the only leg that they have to stand on, basically saying that the verdict was not commensurate with the evidence presented, which the whole world, including Judge Ascarati, disagrees with. But that's their strongest argument, is you should have granted our directed verdict motion, basically, summary judgment motion. And it is weak in and of itself. The July 1 outlined the issue, the July 1 filing, I think it's supposed to say, outlined the issue of the wrong juror 15, but did not go into as much detail as Friday's document. In the document, here are some screenshots. The court should conduct an investigation of juror 15 and whether jury service was proper and due process was protected. The court should investigate whether juror 15 properly served on the jury. On the juror panel list sent to counsel before voir dire, the court noted that the individual who would later be designated juror 15 had a birthday year of 1945. Juror 15, however, was clearly born later than 1945. Show me the evidence. Where's the beef? This is literally hearsay in a legal document. Clearly born. Based on what? Publicly available information demonstrate that he appears to be born in 1970. Where is it?
Exactly. I don't understand where this is coming from.
Fucking hearsay, literally, objection hearsay, Elaine. The discrepancy raises the question whether juror 15 actually received the summons for jury duty and was properly vetted by the court to serve on the jury.
Now she's blaming the court again, which always goes over well.
Yep. Attacking the judge. That's a great way to get started.
And like 3 people have to approve your license when you come in and make sure that your license matches or an ID matches your jury selection form. So no, you don't just like waltz into jury duty.
Nope.
Or else I'd go. I've always wanted to go.
Were you able to find it, by the way?
Yeah, I have one. She tweeted a bunch. Hold on.
At the time of assembly, blah, 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 identity of each. I'm not going to read this whole block. This is Virginia Code 801. You can read that. I don't need to read this whole thing to you, but essentially the court clerk's office had a statutory obligation based on the information outlined above to verify the identity of juror
Yeah.
15. And that is wrong. That is not how the law works. The court does not sua sponte investigate. Once they ascertain that everything is clear, it is up to the lawyer. It's the lawyer's job to make sure that the right person is the one that is answering all the questions, because in theory, realistically, you could have a switcheroo, like, I don't know, a father and
Yeah.
son doing whatever. And nobody will notice, because if they have like the same first and last name, but a different birth year, and then the court will never have to ask that question again. They will
But
just show up day in and
day
day out.
and month, like, it's
But
really not that easy.
But no, I'm saying like after they've already been like vetted
Oh,
by the
okay.
court. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
here's the problem. The problem is that never happened, because first of all, they would look at the panel and go, "That's a different person seated in that seat." Somebody will notice. There's like 100 people in the room. Somebody's going to look and go, "That's I don't know who that is. Who are they?" It's not the same person that's been showing up. So that's completely bonkers to argue that his identity could not have been verified through any of the means of identification the code provides. I mean, and it's not the clerk's office job after it's done. It's up to the lawyers. It raises questions about whether and how juror 15 could have signed a statement affirming under penalty. So now this is defamation in of itself. They're alleging that the juror committed perjury. Named jurors saying it was 25 years younger than the person recognized. I mean, it's literally exhausting listening to these people. It is mind-boggling how far they're willing to go. Basically, for the reasons set forth above, and you guys can read this on your own. I'm going to drop the link in the chat for you all real quick so that you have it, because I refuse to just dissect it further. It's pointless. It is empty, hollow, without legal basis, without factual basis, and it's not even worth your time, honestly. For all the reasons set forth above, Ms. Heard respectfully requests to set aside the jury verdict in favor of Mr. Depp and against Ms. Heard in its entirety, dismiss the complaint, or in the alternative, order a new trial. So there it is. They're asking for a new jury trial. Let's do it again for 6. Depp sued his former partner over a 2018 article she wrote for the Washington Post, the op-ed, about her experiences as a survivor of domestic abuse, which his lawyers said falsely accused him of being an abuser. On June 1st, the jury ruled in his favor. Heard's lawyers also said last week that the judge should throw out the verdict because the amount awarded to Depp, $10 million in compensatory and $5 in punitive, was excessive and indefensible. Overturning jury verdicts is not easy, by the way. It's doable.
What's the percentage?
Percentage?
It's low, right? It's like under
Extremely
15%.
Extremely low. Yeah. It has to be like unconscionable, not commensurate with the facts, not commensurate with the evidence, not commensurate with like sometimes it's cruel and unusual, but usually it's like when the verdicts are in the tens or hundreds of millions, sometimes judges may look at them and go, something went wrong here. Hold on. But this is a case of celebrities where he has provided evidence that he has suffered more than $50 million.
I mean, if he just lost out on one movie, that is $25 million right there.
Yeah, exactly. So this one checks out any judge in the universe. This is
not far-fetched.
It's not robots or machines. And even robots and machines would be like, compute, does compute.
And also, where's that $7 million he gave her?
The what?
Where'd that $7 million go from the divorce settlement that she did not donate?
Oh, clothes, jewelry, houses.
Exactly. But I mean, they'll look at that and be like, she had means at one point. She's in that category where this, she's not destitute for the level that she got $2 million for Aquaman sequel.
Yeah.
Okay, so I sent you the Twitter stuff. First.
Thank you so much. All right, so let's see what do we got. Here we go. This is the first one. So this is the tweet that I tweeted out when I was in Fairfax, Virginia. He was clearly biased from the get-go. She says this is just some rando, true rando, Juror 9, aka Juror 15, which I don't even know if that's still the same one we're talking about
We're
or not.
assuming so just because he was the oldest.
Right.
That's where everyone's getting that from.
Because the Filipino Islander over on the front right on the edge, who I like to call my adoptive father. I mentioned it in this tweet. I
Oh.
wish he was. If you think
They
Amber Heard has a chance of winning, you have not met my adoptive father, juror number 9. The only chance she stands is a hung jury if they will not be unanimous for Johnny Depp. And the reason I wrote that is because after being there, see again, you have to understand, reading a room, reading people it really is an art. I've come to realize. I thought
Yeah.
everybody could do it. When you have like
No.
some ability to do something, you're like, everybody can do it.
No,
But
and
then
these jurors were hard to read.
very
The majority of them stone-faced.
and one of the reasons that and this is not the tweet, but juror number 6, I said something about juror number 6
Oh, I
at one
thought this was
point.
the one you were referring to.
Well, no, this works too.
Okay.
There was another tweet
I found it. Okay.
of juror number 6, how I said juror number 6 and juror number 8, those are two separate tweets, how they looked at Johnny Depp's table on like that last day of testimony, where essentially they all have already made up their mind. Like at that point, if you remember
Yeah.
the juror that came
Especially jury number
forward,
9, 2 days before the verdict, he stopped taking
he
notes
checked
and
out.
starts
Like
laughing.
he was out of there.
He was
Yeah.
laughing at Dr. Hughes. He was laughing at Dr. Spiegel. He was like, "This is ridiculous." Like,
This is
yeah.
ridiculous. He was already like you can't call them biased. This is
No.
what people don't understand. You can't call them these, clearly biased right from the get-go. First of all, this was on the last week and next to last week and the last week. So if you walk in and you're like, you know what, I want Johnny Depp to win. Yes, that is biased. But after listening to 5.5 weeks of testimony, you go, you know what? I think Johnny Depp has this one. That is not bias. That's called a response to information that you have received.
And evidence. There was
And
evidence
Exactly.
that she was psycho and malicious and committed malice. Like, everything above. Wait, what was the tweet you're looking for about juror number 6?
Juror number 6. Yeah,
Okay.
I remember I tweeted that number 8 did it as well. They kind of looked and smirked at Johnny Depp. You don't have to look for it. It's fine.
Okay.
But that's it. That's all I said.
Yeah.
And that's because it's true. It happened. And
there's no way that juror number 9 was
not
54,
biased.
right?
They've already just made up their mind. Do what?
But there's no way that juror number 9 was 54, right? No.
Juror number 9.
The Filipino guy.
Filipino guy could have been 54.
I mean,
he looks very good for his age again. But I don't know. Thanks. Did you donate another 5, Jen? It doesn't show on my thing here. I have to look on YouTube. So thank you if that's another 5. I really appreciate that. Let me just read a couple super chats here real quick. By the way, if you guys have any questions, now is the time. Feel free to drop them in the chat. And of course, as always, I will prioritize super chats. Buy a coffee, Larry. Thumbs up. Thank you, Thomas. Solo 2469 says, greetings, Larry. Good to see you back home and streaming. Thank you so much. But yeah, so it's been definitely a roller coaster. Definitely a roller coaster. I've missed a lot, but I think for the most part, we're caught up. So if there's anything that we missed, what about the ACLU? What's shady stuff are they doing? Oh, and the lawsuit against Umbrella Guy. We got to talk about those too.
Oh, yeah.
So ACLU, let's do that real quick while people are getting their questions in the chat.
Pull it up.
What did the ACLU do?
Well, the big news was that the judge actually awarded them $38,000.
Oh, that was it?
So that was, and the shady stuff, like the conflict of interest that she's fucking living with him in Bridgehampton.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's like... Anthony
Wait.
Romero,
Hold on.
okay.
Back up. This is news to me.
This is what I reached out to the ACLU for comment about, where I was
Okay,
like, do
tell me
you
more,
see
because I'm
this as
completely in
a
the dark on this.
conflict of interest? So the ACLU executive director is
Uh-huh.
Anthony Romero.
Okay.
He did a profile, because you would kind of think, like, what kind of person would be friends with Amber Heard, right? He has a fascination with narcissists, and he openly talks about it in interviews that he's interviewed in. It's
Okay.
it's crazy. So, they're two peas in a pod. It's weird. He has a really fucking shady history of driving under the influence, and like he needs your help. And then the ACLU was asking them to cover it up. This is in the Hamptons. So every weekend, the Hamptons Police Department releases a press release with everyone that they kind of arrested, and they really prioritize DUIs, DWIs, basically anyone unsafe. And then the ACLU reached out to them and like tried to, hush, hush, like, can we not do this? He's a high profile. And it's like, that's the reason we are doing it, to show we're not biased. Super shady history, super shady guy, not a great reputation. And he's one of Amber's best friends. He was with Amber taking photos with her at TJ Maxx. I spoke to eyewitnesses,
Okay,
one of
so
my
that's
editors
him.
did.
That's him.
She is staying at his house.
Oh God. She was staying
in
at his house.
Bridgehampton. That's why I was like, blowing your
Talk
phone
about a
up. I'm like,
conflict
this
of
is so
interest.
that's what I said. And that's why I reached out to the ACLU. I'm like, do you have a comment?
And they didn't respond.
They didn't respond. We put a tracking on the email. They forwarded it to 5 different people. So
Wow.
they're getting opinion, because we're not the first people to reach out and ask for comment. Like, it's being recorded anywhere. If you search Anthony Romero, ACLU, Bridgehampton, Amber Heard, it's everywhere that she was staying with them, and Whitney was, and the kids, because then there was someone who was on her flight that reached out to me and sent me some photos, and then they were on the flight from New York to Miami. So the ACLU must have a house in Miami too, because who else is befriending her at this time?
Wow.
This guy is super sketchy. The ACLU is super sketchy. This is the guy that's making $1 million a year, working 26 hours a week. And that 1 million, that's donations. That's like when you donate you round up your grocery bill and you donate that $2. That's going to his helping Amber Heard and letting her live there. It's not a great look. It's bad PR. I want answers.
Hopefully you get them. I mean, hopefully
I
they'll
know.
reach back out.
I mean,
Chances
we
are
reached
extremely
out, Daily
low.
Mail reached out, New York Post reached out. Like, so I think they're scared. They're obviously losing donors. About 2 years ago, 2020, during the pandemic, they lost one of their biggest donors, and they actually had to slash their budget a third, 33%. So they really can't afford bad press right now, and they still have her listed for speaking engagements. When she was doing tours and giving speeches, she was making $33,000 a speech under
I remember
being
that.
an abuse survivor. You remember, she's not a victim; she's a survivor.
Right. And even though she called herself a I know I'm a
I'm
terrible
a
victim.
terrible victim.
NBC. Yeah.
Yes.
So
So that's why I was like a little up in arms about this conflict of interest and just how corrupt it all is.
Mishy Bell says, given the conflict with the juror, could they not just pull in one of the jerseys that was released because he or she was present for the entire
Oh,
hearing?
I think you mean jurors that was released.
Yeah, the jurors that was released. Oh, so like number 2 and 8 that didn't get in. Would that solve the issue potentially? Well, no. Again, the train has left the station, ship has
They
sailed,
came to
whatever
a
analogy you
verdict.
want.
Yeah.
It's too late. The deliberations were done by 7 people, and the justice system is extremely fickle. You can't just play, roulette or musical chairs with, oh, okay, well, you have an issue with that one. Let's pick that one out, throw this one in, mulligan, and see what happens.
Now, if that would have happened 2 days before the verdict, they would have been excused.
Yes.
And then they would have only eliminated one other juror.
Exactly. What about this lawsuit against Umbrella Guy?
Okay, so it right now it's a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bring her up. So this woman was the woman responsible for creating, she has a defunct company, but was responsible for creating the bots to troll anybody that was believing Johnny's evidence that he was putting forward and not believing Amber. Like, not even fans. It was basically anybody under the Justice for Johnny hashtag or the Depp versus Heard, but that also includes like trolling LawTube, trolling Umbrella Guy's video. So this like crazy psycho woman who had I'm pulling it up. She is threatening a lawsuit with Umbrella Guy for
No, I'm
like,
pulling on
oh
Tug's tits
great.
right now. Okay, we're
Yeah.
talking about Tug tits. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Oh, it's okay. No, yeah, so she's threatening to sue him and he's like, "Hey, do you realize like all my friends are lawyers?" Like he's like, "I stream with 10 lawyers," and she's like threatening to retain counsel. Like it's very far-fetched. Um it's laughable. He has a really really good attitude about it. And he's just laughing at it. But, it's Christina Taft is her name.
Christina Taft. Okay, yeah, I
Yes.
remember you mentioned that name. Is it CH Christina?
CH, yeah. I'm gonna pull up the email.
I don't think she has Twitter because she's mentioned on Twitter, but by that Umbrella Guy.
Yeah.
No, I love Tug. Okay, you guys don't
Oh no, this
don't,
is someone that's
don't
trying
be
to go
giving me this shit.
after Tug that we're like, this is so
I,
far-fetched, it's ridiculous. No,
I
Tug's in the
fucking
right
love Tug.
here.
Tug is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Some people have been saying like, "Are you Tug, Larry?" Is that in
Oh, that's
how
funny.
could I have been Tug if we had streamed at the exact same time? I would have to be like master of voice changing because we were on the same
Okay.
stream at the
I
same time.
just sent you his tweet that kind of explains everything going on. And he
Okay,
also includes the email that she sent. As a lawyer, you should take a look.
let's see.
And
All
she
right,
credits her defunct company, which is like really funny.
Christina Taft, is this your business, Worldy, which is listed as terminated as a nonprofit? Because if so, you not only built Amber Heard bots, but there's some other donation related questions I'd love to see answered. You have
And
several videos referring to my name, Christina Taft. This is her. And technologies processed under projects for my company, Worldy Ltd. You are making money while defaming me and my research team with my contractor. Some of the
it looks like
involved
Elaine has another client.
at 126, it states this is coming from Christina Taft. This contains defamatory content, twisting the purpose of these technologies, my name, and harms my reputation. You've made hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this against others, but I will not stand for this. And I already have an IP business attorney. That's the wrong
That's
lawyer
the
for you to
wrong
put into this,
attorney.
honey.
That's
Like,
like filing your trademarks.
it's like, yeah, I'm suing you for, I'm going to figure out where your computer lives. Either delete these
It's
videos or be
laughable.
reported or be sued. Okay. All right.
And then he's like, dude, do you not realize that my best friends are like 10 lawyers?
So she's going to sue him for defamation. So defamation has become the crime of 2022. Like literally everyone is
And
suing
nobody
everyone for
understands the
defamation.
actual definition. That's the problem.
Exactly. You said something mean about me, therefore you
Yeah.
defamed me.
Well,
What the
that's what
hell?
everyone's been saying in the industry that now that it's, I work more in like television, film, news broadcasting, and everyone's like, this is going to make it really difficult because nobody's really understanding the parameters. And
Hmm.
so not, and lawyers are fucking thirsty. Look at like Michael Avenatti. Like he was on CNN, he was on Fox, he was on ABC, everywhere you could get your hands on. He's in fucking jail now because he was screwing clients out of money and he tried to extort Nike for $300 million.
Not bad.
But, like any lawyer, there are lawyers out there that will just take any case for exposure for themselves.
Right.
So, or
Elaine
even
Hoft.
look at
Sorry, I had a
Morgan
cough.
Tremaine, how he pointed that out. Like, you
Hmm.
could be doing this, for clout for yourself and getting your 15 minutes of fame. They're not like good minutes of fame. She'll be infamous. She won't be famous. But it's, there's going to be an attorney out there, a bad attorney, that will take any case. They're so
That's a
fucking
good
thirsty.
catch.
Well, I'm going to make that a gift.
I am not thirsty. Okay.
Um,
Any questions in
so
the chat? Go
people are
ahead,
going to use
Vanessa.
it. I said, no, people are just, they'll do things for publicity. But we are seeing a very interesting case that mimics this right now, the Evan Rachel Wood Marilyn Manson case. I know you spoke about it a while ago, but Evan Rachel Wood has says that she's been a victim of abuse of her monster, and her monster happens to be Johnny Depp's best friend, Marilyn Manson, who just filed a lawsuit against her and a couple of her friends for defamation. Evan Rachel Wood, last year, the year before, she created a documentary, The Rising of the Phoenix, which gathered all of his alleged victims that she found randomly. And basically, it's a hit piece documentary. And he's like, this is fucked up. This ruined me. Now, what Marilyn Manson has going for him is that his label directly said, we dropped you because of allegations from Evan Rachel Wood. And that was something Johnny didn't have, and he still won. He didn't have the actual verbiage that he lost roles or he lost deals because of allegations, although it was always implied. That's why he lost it. But Marilyn Manson actually has that. So their cases really mimic each other. He's suing for defamation. He filed in March. So we're not going to see that through the court system for a good couple of years.
Right. Yeah. I don't even think 2023. It'll probably be early 2024.
Yeah. Johnny's going back to court in 2 weeks with Ben
Yeah.
and Camille, his whole team, to fight other allegations, no pun intended, other allegations about abuse. This crew member is saying that he knocked him out on set, and Johnny was saying he was pulling him away, preventing him from getting violent with a homeless man. So they're going back in court in
That's the 25th, right?
that's the
And that's
25th.
not trial.
I'll be
It's
there for
just
that
like
one. It is a trial. So
it is trial?
it's about a week to 2 weeks. I'll be there.
Oh
And
my God.
Jeanette from
No
Long
wonder
Crime will be
Johnny is
there.
touring all over England, because he's
Yeah.
trying to like vent whatever pent up energy he had sitting in that courtroom for 6
He's also
weeks.
had that booked, the Jeff Beck tour booked for a year prior. So whether he won or lost,
he
was
obviously
going for
was preparing for the fact that he's going to need to vent, and he did,
Yeah.
and he has been, and good for him. Jeez.
Yeah, he's back in court in Los Angeles County in 2 weeks, but that was filed in 2018, 2019. So they're just seeing that trial now. So we're not going to see the Marilyn Manson one for a couple years.
Well, I think this is a good place to stop. I think we're all caught up on everything. Thank you for all the tea, Vanessa. Good
Yeah, of
God,
course.
you're like a wealth of information.
Deep dive.
Literally, you are an executive reporter. That's your title?
I'm a
if I remember.
producer. I'm a producer.
Executive producer.
So how, like, when I'm like on with Baron, how we kind
Let's get it wrong.
explain it is like, if you've seen the morning show, Jennifer Aniston's character, or Reese Witherspoon, they're the anchor. So that's you. And then I'm Chip. I'm in your ear. I'm in the booth. I'm feeding you the articles, telling you what to say, telling you when to move on, telling you when to make, someone you're interviewing cry. That's, what a news producer really is. But for something like this, you're called an on the field reporter, on the ground producer. And then so I've been taking what I've seen and produce stories and then sell them to outlets for this.
Or give them to Larry.
Or give them to Larry. Give you all the tea.
Hey, one day I'm going to be paying you for information. Just wait. The day is coming. So.
Well, I hope it. Yeah, we're going to crack some cases. But I'm excited to be there for the LA trial. I think it'll be, it's not going to be televised. So I'll come spill all the tea here.
Oh, wow. So basically any tweet from that trial is going to be received with a lot of exposure.
Yeah. So Anjanette, who's with Long Crime, who we sat in court with for a while, she and Long Crime have put in 2 requests now to get cameras in there, and they've both been
Mhm.
shot down. So they're hoping
Really?
for and one
Any
of the
particular reason? What was the
they're
justification
not
for
giving
not wanting
reason. They just said no.
just no?
Yeah, they just fill out a form. Like you just submit an application and there's just like 3 different boxes that you check off like yes, 1 pool camera, yes, any network can have a camera or no. And no what has been checked off twice. So, they're
Mhm.
trying again to get it in, but I don't think we're going to get it in. And that's what we saw with, Ghislaine Maxwell in the Epstein case. We didn't have cameras and a lot of that shit was misconstrued.
Mhm.
So, a few of us will be there from the other trial to just like kind of report on everything, but
Sure.
it's going to be different.
Oh, definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, different characters, different
Mhm.
everything. Um, People are asking in the chat if I'm going to be able to be there. No, I actually have other plans and a law firm to run, so no, I will not be there. But how long do you expect that trial to run? Because
A
I can't
week,
imagine more than like a week. Oh,
a
I was
week,
just
yeah.
about to say.
A week and a half.
I have a jury trial that Friday, the 29th, so it might be again like
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know when
yeah,
we'll probably get
that's
verdict, I guess,
Friday,
first week of August
August.
then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I
And I have
think it's
another one on August 3rd, so I have a lot of
oh, wow,
jurisdiction.
you got it going on.
Oh yeah, I mean, I
What
have yeah.
with the case that you did in June, when does that go back?
July 24th. No, that's a Sunday. Um, July 20 something. I can't remember.
Okay, so it goes back to summer. Soon.
Yeah, a
So
couple of
you and
weeks, but
Johnny will be
not
in
not for
court.
trial. Not for trial. It's a pretrial conference.
Oh, okay, so you're
So
starting
no, no,
over.
no. It would be on my calendar if it was another trial.
So what's the
It's
next steps for Amber?
the next steps for Amber is to zip it and dig herself into a hole. Wait, is that specific enough? Where exactly are you asking?
More so with the appeal.
With the appeal, I mean, so by July 24th, well, for her, it's going to be the 25th because the 24th falls on a Sunday.
Mhm.
She has to, you're getting some compliments in the
Thank
chat.
you.
Um, she has to post bond,
Mhm.
and the bond is 8.35 million plus
Right.
6% per annum. So basically what that means is by July 24th,
Mhm.
25th, she has to have 8.35 million in cash given to Fairfax District Court or Circuit Court in Virginia, and with the paper, all the requisite papers
Right.
for the filing of the appeal. Once the appeal commences, she has to maintain the interest rate. Now, I don't know how the court's going to do it. They're going to do it like once a month, once a year. But basically, by June 1st of 2023, 6% of 8.35, if you do the math, is exactly 501,000. So
The,
if by June 1st,
no, Judge
2023,
A. Okay. Oh, so this was something at the judgment. She said when you go to file your appeal, you need to put up 6% up front for the year.
oh, six. Okay, so I'm sorry,
Mhm.
I didn't know that. So
Yeah, so then
8.85
in 1 year, she'll have to put up it. She has to put it up before the year, and I guess,
or
like, if it
8.86. It's almost 888. It's
yeah.
almost that's it's going to be easy to remember. It's
Mhm.
8.86 would be the exact number of how much she has to put up in order for her appeal to be posted. Thank you. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that's just what she said in court that,
It's not 10, Hazel.
no,
And
it is 10.
it
No, this is what she said, and this is where Elaine
oh,
and the argument happened, is she said when you go to a okay, so
oh.
Elaine started saying, "Hey, like, I want another hearing," and she's like, "Bitch, we don't need another hearing." Judge A is like, "Bitch, we don't need another hearing. You are done. My mind is made up." And Elaine's like, "Yeah, but what if you, like, change your mind?" And the judge was like, I am not going to change my mind. We are done. This case is closed. I've had this for 18 months. Elaine's like, don't you just want to like think about it? And like, she's like, I'll let you think about it until the 11th through the 14th. And that's when they started yelling. She's like, we are done. I'm done with you. like, this case is closed. And if you want to file an appeal, it is going to be 10.35 plus 6% upfront.
So that's 11 million short,
Correct.
$29,000 short of 11.
Plus the
Holy hell.
$500 admin fee.
Well, okay.
But yeah, no, but this is everything that like Judge was
Yeah.
saying. And Elaine was stunned because she didn't think that she was going to have to put up the 10. She thought she was going to put up the 8.
Wow. So for those of you curious, this is the number. This is how much Amber Heard has to post. That's if you take the 10,350 multiply by 6%.
Wait, that was
Plus the
one.
$500 filing fee.
Oh no, that
That's
was
what you
1.6.
get. Is that right?
Yeah.
So
Plus
just
anything she
shy of
owes
11.
Elaine too. Like
Well,
Elaine's due date will
she
be
doesn't have
there.
to post that as a bond to the court.
No.
That's separate, right? So,
But there is a good chance that Elaine's team will ask, or what's his name? Ben, who's the other guy? Rottenborn. They'll ask for a retainer at this point if she doesn't already have one.
definitely 100%.
So
Because
that
the
is
way it works is you get paid, let's say like $1 million retainer.
Yeah.
It's not your money yet. It goes into this account, this special account lawyers have. I have one myself. It's called an IOLTA account. Actually, don't even remember what it stands for. It's IOALT or whatever.
Yeah.
ALTA, whatever. And that account is a special account where I can deposit, like, let's say an insurance company pays me the amount, like, let's say we settle a client's case for $500,000. You know, a portion of that money is the client's money, a portion of that money is my money, but I get a check for $500,000.
Yeah.
I can't just be like, okay, sweet, and then take that money. I have to put it in a special account and then divvy up the proceeds, you know, write a separate check to the client, separate check.
Think
to
of it as a
myself.
trust.
So it's exactly what it is. It's a trust.
So now, are you following?
Getting a retainer, it goes, you take like that 1 million, let's say that that Rottenborn and Elaine or whatever, it goes into their account, and as they work, if they're 700 an hour, 500 an hour, 250 an hour, they get to periodically bill that account, and they have, you know, an X amount that they can deduct. They deduct it, and now it's their money. And whatever balance is. So if they're in the middle of litigation and Amber Heard says you're fired, she gets a refund of whatever's left, even though that money was paid. What was your question? Sorry.
Well, two things. That is why the bidding war, they've listed that number of 50 million for the book.
Damn.
And it's still a bidding war. So, you
Has
know,
anyone offered close to that yet?
Yeah, that's the latest number, 15.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Is there an interest on lawyer trust accounts? Yes, there is, but all of that goes to the Kentucky Bar Foundation in Kentucky and respective bar foundations. Lawyers.
So is that the same in Virginia too?
I imagine it's nationwide. Yeah. I'm sure it's the same, because then think about it. Then it's in a lawyer's best interest to keep clients' money in that account as long as possible and not pay the client. That would create such chaos if lawyers were profiteering.
Else that's coming up with the book. Will the publisher be liable for anything that she writes since she has a pattern of defaming people and not taking any responsibility?
Well, I'm sure there's going to be a clause in her contract that the publisher written by the author. I don't know how legally viable that language is, because again, anybody and everybody can be sued under the sun in America.
Right.
The question is, will it stick? You know, everybody's like, how do I not get arrested? You're going to get arrested. The question is, are going to be convicted? Okay.
Right.
Spend the night in jail, get out, etc. Same thing here. Are you going to be sued? Sure, probably, maybe. Who cares? The question is, are you going to lose, be found liable, have to pay? That's the question you should be asking. So can the publicist be sued? Sure.
No, the publisher.
Liable? Maybe, you know, publisher. Sorry, the publisher. Depends on their level of culpability. I mean, of course, before publishing the book, they will have access to the manuscript. So they will have read it. And if they can always argue, like, look, I don't know what she's saying in here. That's not my problem. You know, I'm not privy to any of this information. That's what I would say.
The book is going to come with a disclaimer. That's like, we have, this girl's crazy.
It's not going to be a #1 seller. No, God, no.
So if you think about it, her tell-all interview where she was going to introduce new evidence only got 2.5 million viewers on Dateline. It was the second lowest Dateline episode rating wise for the entire year.
That says a lot.
It does. And they teased the hell out of that. They teased that all week. So,
well, they probably got like $50 million worth of ads slapped on
right.
in between
Well,
there.
I
So,
don't, they thought they were going to get like 10 million viewers. They got 2.5.
Did you hear that? I did a poll not that long ago.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I've been tweeting a lot since then. Give me just a second. I asked the public if I should write a book. Did you catch that one?
Oh, yeah. What do people say?
So last I checked, I don't know if, hold on. Last I checked, it was pretty much like split down the middle, if I remember correctly.
What? Wait, a book about trial?
About the trial. Yeah, sorry. Yep. Oh, here it is. Found
yeah.
it. Let me go ahead and share screen real quick. Should I write a book about my behind the scenes experiences at the Johnny Depp trial?
I mean, it was a wild time.
The yeses won, but by a negligible margin. 50.3, like 10,000 people voted. So 5,000 people are like, write the book.
So
I'll read it.
5,000 people will buy your book.
I
mean, that's not bad.
Are like, no, not interested. Go fuck yourself, Larry. I don't care.
But you know that could be Christina Taft's fault. Maybe she got her bots going from her defunct company. Like, who knows?
Exactly. So I'm like, I'm not worried. I think writing the book would be just fun for everybody, but I got to find the time for it again because I don't think I'll make any money on it.
Fun. Let's just self-publish it.
Well, but here's the thing. I would have to spend the time writing it. Like I need.
Yeah, it's like, how much is your time worth?
Not a ghostwriter, but what is it called? Like somebody that like follows me around and I just give them the tale and they.
Not like a stenographer.
Like a scribe. I need a 1857 scribe.
I do feel that it would be kind of cool, like having everybody's like craziest best stories from it, like a compilation of behind the scenes, like almost written as not just only your experiences, but it's like, and then like we got to see Elaine going to the bathroom crying hysterically.
Yeah.
Like that was crazy. And that the fact that like I was literally on the phone with my editor in the bathroom and like kind of talking shit about, everything going on. She walks in. I didn't know she was using the same bathroom as like the gallery. How psycho is that? And she also uses the same bathroom as Camille. And they were in there to get like fucking awkward. But like, there were really cool behind the scene moments that we saw, like the jelly beans or like her downing a Mountain Dew at 8 a.m. every morning before court. Like just weird idiosyncrasies, weird things with the jury, the judge, like even with the judgment, Elaine had a couple very snide remarks and the judge walked off her bench. She left. As Elaine was speaking, she just went back into her chambers and was like, it was fucking weird. Like it was contentious. It was yelling like they were all really pissed. And Ben Shue was just sitting there swiveling in his chair. But I mean, everyone saw something different. And, I think there's something there for sure.
All right. Well, we're going to sign off. Vanessa, thank you so much for joining me. I mean, it's been so much fun talking about this. This woman just won't go away, but I had to do and it was you actually who let me know. So I was like, you know what, let's do it. And here we are. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Vanessa. Tomorrow, there's another stream that I have planned at 7 p.m. Eastern. So same time, same place. We're going to be doing regular DUI guy stuff. We're going to be talking about recent videos, arrests. Chris, the former cop, is going to be joining me. He's going to be co-hosting. And also, be on the lookout. Morgan Tremaine and I have been talking about doing a stream together. He's just traveling a lot. He went to Hawaii, then he went to Amsterdam. So hopefully, eventually, I'm going to have Morgan Tremaine co-hosting at least one. I don't know if it's going to stick or not. I don't know. It all depends on how it goes. But Morgan and I are planning on doing a stream here soon, hopefully when he gets back from Amsterdam. And by the way, allow me to take this second to wish you a happy fucking birthday, Morgan. I hope your flight it probably is still going. Amsterdam is a long ways away from the States. So I will see you all tomorrow, 7 p.m. right here. Love every single one of you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.